Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show tonight. We will get started very soon. It's Friday night. As the days wind down, the supplies wind down, maybe people begin to notice. For tonight's show, I'm going to refer to the book of Proverbs. We're going to read some stuff out of there. Because God blessed you and I with the ability to see where we're at. And because they're fools, as the Bible says, and God has hardened their hearts, they just can't see it. So tonight's show, we will refer to the book of Proverbs. And if you're listening to this live, glad to have you. If you're listening to it in the future, glad to have you the same. Hughes, welcome. Says, I made, you certainly did make it. Glad to have you. I hope this finds everybody well. No fear. Child of God. Welcome as well. Glad to have you too. For all of you just joining us, I'm going to be reading out of the book of Proverbs a little bit. Justice, glad to have you as well. Talk a little bit about why they can't see what's coming. Many verses, but you just have to pick a few, and they're all pretty much the same about they're fools, and God has hardened their hearts. So we'll get into Proverbs in a little bit. I don't know what worldly stuff happened today. I haven't even looked. All I saw, the first thing when I looked at the TV was a picture of that guy and his serpent girlfriend. Thought I better make a video about this. But they're everywhere. They're everywhere. I can make many videos on it. I have made many videos. And if people don't get it by now, they're not going to get it. I mean, if that doesn't tell you, looking at that video of that human man with the serpent doesn't tell you the Bible's real, nothing will. Child of God says, someone told me today that we are all reptilian because of our third eye. Freaky Friday. I've also heard a lot of people say our reptilian side of the brain. But we don't, we're humans. We're not serpents. They're also not reptilians. The serpent was crafty. There's either serpents or bots. All controlled. All controlled. All deceived by the hive mind. No reptilians. No planet Draco. None of that. It's all part of the deception, which is probably going to be the fake alien invasion, right? They're going to say the good aliens are going to fight the bad aliens. And when I say Satan is going to expose his own, you all have a little bit of depth. So when I say Satan's going to expose his own, I mean from a worldly perspective. Because you have depth, you understand that. So it might be the good aliens versus the bad aliens. And the good aliens expose what the bad aliens are doing and crush them. So is Satan going to say these are my peoples and this is how we get down? Never. But when I say Satan will expose and crush all of his own, it's going to be from a worldly perspective. So it may appear good aliens, bad aliens, right? And the humans are caught in the middle, or whatever sci-fi crap they push. But because you have knowledge and because you're out of the world, you'll see it for what it is now, and you know what it is. You've been knowing what it is. How it's portrayed to the masses doesn't really matter because you know what it is. Like we talk about every day today, whatever was on the shelves and whatever they got in the back is what they got. Tomorrow morning when you wake up, there'll be a little less. Another story I heard today that they're going to use to try to justify everything collapsing is now the supplies on the alleged container ships that are pre-positioned all over the world have expired and gone bad. And all the, I guess the toys and all the other crap is outdated. That's another word they used, outdated. So be aware, just another bootleg angle that they're going to try to sell. But it stopped. When it stopped, I don't know. But what they had is what they had. And tomorrow there'll be a little bit less. And because you have wisdom and knowledge, you see that from the outside, looking in. They're not going to respond well. That's right, Hughes. They set up more deception, but they too are deceived. Alec Baldwin shot somebody on a movie set with a prop gun. I've never heard of a prop gun firing at all. So right away, as soon as you read that headline, Alec Baldwin shoots two people. One of them dies, one of them's messed up by accident with a prop gun. Right away, there's holes in the story, right? A prop gun shot somebody? No, prop guns don't work. They're prop guns. That'd be like my prop laser or something. Cut somebody in half. Sorry. It's not real. So what happened? Who knows? It doesn't matter what happened. But it's not a prop gun. Gone wrong. Prop guns don't hold bullets. But you know the deal. It's what it is. It's always been that way. Nothing new. Many different angles. So if you're still in the world, It will get you eventually. If you come out of the world, it goes on around you. And it's really hard to explain. But those of you that are out of the world and see it from another level and where we are at and how it's biblically based, there is a few like-minded individuals out there. And those of you that are just waking up to it, you're going the right way. Keep going with it. Because it's not you, it's God waking you up. You saw it. You looked for. And now he's giving. And it takes a minute to even understand what it is. And the depth of it's amazing. It's by pure luck. God drug me out of the world in 2003. But I want to talk a little bit about these verses in Proverbs. All right, here we go. Proverbs. A truthful witness does not deceive, but a fake witness pours out lies. So this is Proverbs chapter 14. Lots of verses about wisdom, but a false witness pours out lies. You can see that from a mile away. You can also hear it from a mile away when they say some bootleg stuff. And that's what it is. The mocker seeks wisdom and finds none, but knowledge comes easily to the discerning. That's why I always say I can do this in real life. When people make bootleg videos, they can come up with the answers because they steal my stuff, but they can't show their work. And that's what it comes easily to the discerning because God gave it to me. It's just in me. It's not me. And that's why I say the things I do. But the whole church is deceived. Cool of the day, welcome. Glad to have you as well. And we'll keep going in Proverbs a little bit here. The mocker seeks wisdom and finds none, but knowledge comes easily to the discerning. So when you look and you can see that they can't fix potholes and the CGI and everything, that's because you have knowledge. Stay away from a foolish man, for you will not find knowledge. On his lips, they can't show their work. Stay away from, also another verse, come out from them. Do not partake with them, rather expose them. And there's many more verses. The wisdom of the prudent is to give thought to their ways, but the folly of fools is deception. They're all deceived. And they're all deceived in their own little ways. And that's what it goes on, many. The house of the wicked will be destroyed. Also about when we're in the world. This is chapter 14 of Proverbs. It says, there is a way that seems right to a man, but in the end, it leads to death. That's when you're in the world. They're dead already. That's why I say that. The faithless will be fully repaid for their ways, and the good man rewarded for his. A simple man believes anything, but a prudent man gives thought A wise man fears the Lord and shuns evil, but a fool is hot-headed and reckless. It keeps going on. And it just comes down to God has hardened their hearts to believe the lie, the illusion that we all believed at one time. It's not their fault, so to speak, but it is their fault that they get taught something and they never look into it. They see it cartoony. And all of you have woken up or are in the process of it because you had enough of that world in one way or another. And it takes a minute because it's a lot. But like I said, since 03, by the grace of God, so I've had time to figure out what it is and why it is. And we know what it is because it's biblical based. But keep going with it because you are definitely on the right track to coming out of the world. A world that thinks it's going to defend itself against an illusion with their worldly weapons. The same way people think they're going to stockpile things and they're going to depend on themselves. So whatever the world is preparing for, where they're strategically placing ships and everything else, is all part of what must happen. And you know the deal. It's going to continually get worse. Because they're not even real. None of them are. Long gone. Or never were. Those are the ones that, you know, Satan, when I say he's going to expose his own and exterminate them all, and people will cheer wildly because you have depth, it's not going to be anything other than a deception. So it could appear as the good aliens are telling you about the bad ones. But you know who it is, and you know what it leads to. Putting your faith into something that isn't Christ. Why would he come here and crush all the humans, put himself out of business? Yet they too are deceived, for their father is the father of lies. So not only are they definitely his, the father of lies, they're his children. At some point, somebody told me I was crazy about that. Yet they too are deceived, for their father, get this, is the father of lies. And they only exist, so he's going to expose and exterminate them to get a foothold and make humans think that, hey, he's a pretty good guy. He exposed all of this monstrous stuff. And he's going to make everything back the way it was. It's going to be a big promise because there'll be a lot of people gone. It won't be the same way. It'll be better. There's less of us now. People get way more. There's like 1 in 1,000 less. Everybody gets what they want. It'll be this big promise to build back better, or whatever slogan they use. But they're deceived. But it will get so bad that they're in 100%. Yeah, in Isaiah, sudden destruction befalls them. Certainly does. And like we talked about many times, God has had enough of these people and their deceptions. Satan and his, who use them like props. But it doesn't matter what happens. Yeah, maybe it'll be a pole shift. I don't even know what that means, but I've heard that term as well. But whatever it is, it's not for us. It's for them and all their crap. A new heaven and a new earth, right? So whatever with this place. All the ships they keep showing, none of the ports moving. Couple in maybe Florida or something. But that's not what they are. They're not what you think and what you're being told. It doesn't matter what they are. Because they have long since hid themselves. They've strategically placed supplies, putting their faith in themselves. Ships strategically placed all over the world, not just off the coast of California, but it's worldwide. But all they're doing is bringing about their own demise. It's at the doorstep. It's their end. And we get to go to an amazing place by the grace of God. All glory to Christ. That's what you're to dwell upon. Because the deception you were born into, it's going to get, like, even the elect, if possible. So it's going to be tough for people trying to figure out what's going on. And the only way is drawing near to Christ. There is no knowledge in anything else. Zero. Anything. No crystals. No tarot cards. None of that. None of it. Zero. Other than Christ. Nothing of this world matters. That's why we've come out of the world. People say many things, but I know America will be destroyed. I know that much. Hollywood and everything. The world will go on, though, because it will weep the merchants. I don't remember what verse that is. But always remember, it's for they and all the people whose hearts have been hardened. All the people that think that they're going to go to a church, they're going to get real religious real quick, are going to be sorely mistaken. They're going to have to mean it. They're going to have to live it. And that's going to be a lot. With the illusions of the zombie apocalypse, the aliens, and all this other crap that you know they're going to pull with their TV screen above us. Then the sky will roll back like a scroll, and the TV screen will stop. Christ will end all of this. That'll be it. Just like it's written. Just like you've always been taught, except more real. More real life. How lucky we are. They're never going to believe it. You can show them. They're never going to believe it. Summertime Daisies is with us. Welcome. Glad to have you. She said, I hope all is well. Everything is fantastic. Another day in the Matrix. Satan's deception. Still, on a daily basis, I definitely notice a lack of people, cars, road congestion, all of that stuff. But it is collapsing in real life. And when we wake up tomorrow, there'll be a little bit less, never to be refilled. They'll keep that illusion going. I've even seen pictures already. If this doesn't tell you and wake them up, nothing will. Of empty shelves being disguised with like lawn chairs. So they showed full shit, but it was a lawn chair lined up like 20 lawn chairs, trying to hide the empty shelves. None of the politicians are real. Satan has long got them. Hence why I always say they can't fix potholes. Satan devoured them long ago. That's why it says come out from them, right? Do not partake with them. Rather expose them. You don't hear anybody coming out from them. They sign right up for that deal, whatever the deal is. And that's the end of them. And then some weird clone version of them goes on. Freezes up, blinks too much, but that ain't them. You know, that ain't you in there. Yeah. Summertime Daisy says they are collapsing their own system. Good riddance. Well said. They certainly are bringing about their own demise. Probably don't even know it. Any more than somebody who's dating a serpent, right? Now that serpent knows the deal. There is no love in them. The serpents know the deal. Now they don't know. They're going to be a stepping stone for Satan. They don't know that part of it. Now, like I said, because you have depth, it may be presented as the Greys versus the Reptilians or the Draco, whatever bootleg stuff. They're going to try to tell you. But in fact, the serpent was crafty. That's just that. It's nothing more than Satan the image of Satan. It's like we're the image of God. You understand? And then all the bots in between are just bootleg. But yet, the sheep being led astray. The sheep don't know they're being led astray by wolves in sheep's clothing. The sheep are the humans. The demons are the wolves and the serpents. Serpent was crafty. No, dude, it's just a hot chick. Hot human female. No, it is not. Certainly is not. It is a serpent, and nice knowing you. And that's what it's always been that way. That's nothing new. Always. Satan looks for who he can devour. Or, like we talk about, run into the ground. But hopefully people wake up. Gabriel's Hill, welcome. Glad to have you as well. Says he is driving, so he's just going to listen. Either way, glad to have you. But they think they know what's coming upon this place, and they have no idea. And that's why they're stockpiling in their stupid bunkers, in their supply ships off the coasts. Are they full of supplies? Is there going to be massive tidal waves on both coasts? Will those ships be pushed in 60 miles, deposited somewhere, and then the water goes back out? Uninhabitable all around, right? Except for those survival ships. Get to one of those, open it up. And you got a bunch of supplies to rebuild, make it better, build back better. A third world war, a zombie apocalypse or equivalent, a fake staged alien invasion, all wrapped up into one. Knowing the darkness cannot penetrate the light is priceless. The one in us is infinitely more powerful than the one in they. But yet the deception will go on. It certainly will be staged. Could be some sort of underwater explosion that causes a massive wall of water to annihilate the coasts. But whatever it is, it will be. But it's coming. Like we said, a few weeks at best, maybe a month and like, what are we talking, 60 days? Sometime in there. How long until everything runs out? Tomorrow would be what? 59 days. Even if it was 100 days. Till you knew the grid was going to go down, it would go by fairly quickly. Days would count down, and you would try to tell people, kind of like Noah you would feel. Hey, there's a flood coming. You guys are all too wild. You're living crazy. You got to stop that. You're wicked. Beg for forgiveness. Accept Christ, right? They didn't. They laughed at him, right? Same way they didn't hear him, and they're not going to hear you. They just won't. But that's not for us. For us, like we talk about, is understanding who you are and why you are and why your life has been the way it was. You had to get knowledge even when you didn't know it, living in the world amongst them, not knowing who them was, and how whack that world is, and how wicked. We're not wicked. We wouldn't partake in that in real life. So we're not going to get money from turning a blind eye to wickedness. And that's why we will never advance. Now, other people think they can turn a blind eye to it, and it's just people bugging out, doing crazy stuff, right? But they never understand what it is, and they think they can turn a blind eye to it. And that's what it is. He certainly did give us authority over them. They have no authority we have authority to tread upon them. Just another tool that you have. And knowing that book is real. But you have to understand who you are and who they are and who the people around you are and why you can't wake them up. It's God's will, not ours. No matter how adamant you are where we're at in the end times, they're never going to hear you. It's part of the learning process that I learned long ago. Sudden destruction, the slow collapse that we're all witnessing. Sudden destruction. Be aware of that. Just from a worldly perspective, if everybody here was a human, right? And they think they know something's coming, whether because they're deceived as well. So they think an asteroid or they think whatever, and if a fake alien invasion, but they don't know it's fake, they're just as deceived because they're all dead already on the hive mind. And when you're on the hive mind, you're committed to what they want, what Satan wants you to think. You're committed to that. They can't come off of that. All of them are committed to that. They never will come off of that. They haven't activated it yet. In the other people, we'll call it the recent people, the humans recently, right? But ever since they've been like, you go to Hollywood or you're a famous musician or you get it right away, the mark of the beast. And then you're in the hive mind and you get ejected. Some bootleg version of you goes on. When they activate it, everybody's getting activated. Everybody, everybody will be like synchronized into the hive mind. Yeah, yeah. Pestilence, plagues, and such. All these things must come to pass. So yeah, wouldn't be surprised to see people melting. Who knows? They'll seek death. and it will flee from them. Whatever it is, it's not for us, and there ain't a damn thing any of us can do about it. All these things must come to pass. So your job, with the little bit of time that we have left, is to put on the full armor of God. Understand the reality you exist in, even if you can't see it, and you just can feel it. And maybe you have something else. I don't know. Everybody has something special, though. Even if it's a little bit, just keep going with it. Because it's coming. It's coming for sure. And you've told everybody around you. You see how they respond. The bots, they still see it from what they're making. Human robots, what, like science, bro? And no, a lot more devilly. And they always have been. Let them grow together till the end. They never ask who's them. But us and someone else. Yeah, certainly us and someone else. You break it down for them. You show them. And then they say, what do you want to have for dinner? Or something else. But they could care less about what you told them. And now we know why. Because God has hardened their hearts to believe the lie. Like we said, there's nothing you're going to do about that. And how the deception evolves. Flooding on the coast. It's going to be God's will. Ann Pearson is with us. Welcome. Glad to have you, Ann. Talking about the book of Proverbs. Read a couple verses about why people can see it for what it is and why others can't. But whatever form it shows up in, all these things must come to pass. Is it going to be a volcano exploding? Big rock into the ocean causing tidal waves? It doesn't matter what it is. Because it's what's supposed to happen. Because we know that world ended already. And we're in the illusion of that world. And this illusion's coming to an end. Then it's going to get crazy. And you exist here to pull as many out of the fire as you can. You're not existing here to find a hideaway, survive the zombie apocalypse, build back better. I assure you, it's going to continue to get worse and worse and never get better. And those zombie apocalypse movies don't look too awesome. But since it's not for us, it will be interesting to be a part of. Exciting to save souls. Give freely as I have been given. I hope I can save as many as I can. But I would go through it all to save one. I would do that for you. I'll do that for them. I hope they would do that and you would do that for me. Because otherwise, what are we doing here? People would say it's a very stagnant time, almost like time stopped or time sped up and is going really fast. Either way, however you feel it, because the world ended in November of 2019. Some people feel like time sped up, other people feel like it stopped. Either way, you're probably right. Just another tool to draw you near to Christ, and not like those church people, I assure you. The blind leading the blind. They cannot show their work. I can show my work. I know some of you can, but they cannot show their work. And they will also never acknowledge they're wrong. Like, dude, you married them. You've reproduced with them. They're all around you in the picture. And they'll never know that because they're the blind, leading the blind. But they're going to be surprised because nothing done in darkness won't be brought to light. They're going to see what it is at some point. God will show them on Judgment Day or whatever, however you see that. But they will see it, the error of their ways. But here, right now, they're never going to listen to you or me, nor will none of their congregation. They wouldn't even allow me, someone like me, into their church. Let me do a 1 hour sermon. They wouldn't let me because they hate the truth. And they can't control what I say. And they can't control who I point out and how I explain it. In a very raw way. They don't like that. Yeah, they don't want to hear about losing their churches and all their money and their Cadillacs and their fancy suits and their stages where they stand up higher than the crowd because they're elevating themselves, they're exalting themselves over the crowd, making themselves a little bit better. Painted Daisy, welcome. Glad to have you as well. That's right. They hated Christ because they hated the truth. The truth is not in them. And that's how they'll go out of this place, whether you grew up with them or not. It's not your decision. But like I said, America will be annihilated. Where the 7 year tribulation will continue on, who knows? Certainly won't be America. But we're in it in real life. We were all born into it. And we have all been deceived. And it's not our fault. Now it's what you do with it. Friday night, middle of October. How many more Friday nights will we have to do this? No doubt they're not going to want people talking in the zombie apocalypse. And it's getting close. But you can definitely notice a lack of people on a daily basis. A lot of fake promises being made about worldly solutions. You know, Donald Trump's going to come back and be president or whatever, right? Don't listen to any of that. Or they say patriots are taking the underground tunnels underneath Washington. Just give them 2 weeks. They'll tell you all about it. Don't listen to any of that. None of that is real. All of it is both sides. They're Republican or they're Democrat. But whatever you get from either side, or the talking heads on either side, the radio people, the Alex Joneses, all of them, they're all part of it. They're all on the hive mind. That's why you heard the word full spectrum dominance. They're on the hive mind. They're not even real. They don't think like you and I. They're not them still. Some people would call it cloning or whatever they want to call it. But at the end of the day, if that worldly term of cloning or Stepford wives gets people to listen, then you explain to them it's Satan looks for who he can devour. They're not aliens. Turning people into robots, bro. Then they'll live longer. They won't have disease. Blah, blah, blah. No. That's not what it is. That's another angle of the deception. Satan can get them many different ways. But the mark of the beast that's going on will never stop in the background. No matter what, zombie apocalypse, camps, fake alien invade, all of this crap, that will continue on. Because you have to make that decision at some level. Or you're gone already. And if you're gone already and it overtakes them, that's part of the deal. Everybody's going to go. Except for a few of us that we talked about are hidden with God, but hidden with Christ until he returns. Here to do God's work. We talked about those verses, I believe, last night. And who you are, and who I am, and why I had to be refined, and why I had to go through all of that stuff. But it is what it is. It'll always be that way. Colossians, got many verses about it. Trying to find a verse here. Second Thessalonians talks about don't let anyone deceive you in any way. A rebellion. The man of lawlessness is revealed. So that he sets himself up in God's temple, right? We talked about that as well. Replicating the body that Christ used when he was here. Getting into it. And proclaiming himself to be the one true God. Yeah, summertime. They want transhumanism yeah, the merging of man and machine. Basically, you just get into the hive mind. You're dead. Insta dead. It's a wrap. And that's what it is. And that's where we're at. I'm just looking here for another verse. I don't think I'll be able to find it. But it was who we are. It is what it is. But you have to come out of the world. If you don't come out of the world, you're going to go down with it. Without a doubt. We're going to get to wrapping it up for tonight. Friday night. Get back after it tomorrow. There'll be a little bit less in the world, a little bit more screwed up every day until the collapse happens. I mean, New York, I'm in nowhere, Wisconsin. So when I knew about it, or what I would know about it before those of you that live in big cities would know about it before me, I wouldn't know about it. I would probably hear some bootleg rioting protest that turned to a riot or something. Would probably be the first I heard about it. Those of you in big cities would know it right away. I don't know if it ever crossed their mind that that world's coming to an end. But all of you stay on that narrow path because it could happen at any time. God bless each and every one of you. All glory to Christ.